Welcome to A Funny Thing Called Business. We are 4 business owners with over 30 years collective experience under our belts, sharing the capers and triumphs of running a small business and how we now avoid perilous customer chaos and pitfalls. I'm Claire Worley. We also have
Kate Curry,
Darren Langley,
Pete Morgan.
Right, today we are talking about customer journeys.
Ooh.
So I guess the first question really I have to ask is, what's a customer journey?
is it via a bus or a train? And like, how'd they get to you and that kind of thing?
Oh.
Mm.
How did they get to us? Yes, that's part of it. What else is a customer journey?
Isn't that what Alita Adams sang about?
you can
Was
get
it?
here by a CRM system.
Exactly. You can get here from a referral or a business networking event.
Pete can sing.
Tell you.
Keep going.
Do it for 30 minutes.
Pad this out.
Okay. So customer journeys are the whole process of how customers find you, what marketing avenue they come through to you via, all the way through to see you later, that's been great working with you. So let's talk, what are your thoughts on customer journeys? I love them.
I guess they're important.
Yes.
That's it.
So, I mean, I'm a customer journey junkie.
Okay.
So are we at two ends of the spectrum?
No.
No, I think we're at 2 ends of the spectrum.
So let's talk about your spectrum
No,
then.
it's not that I don't believe in it. Of course I do. I think it's good, but it's just not something that I've got as a defined process. And I also, the other thing I said when you were talking about, how they first, I think the journey begins for them before it begins for us.
Yes.
Because they'll hear about us or see us or meet us at something and think, oh, right, okay. There's someone to work with.
Or they'll have a problem and be thinking,
Yeah.
like, how do I solve this problem?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
get onto their radar.
Yeah, because that's, with some people, I've been tagged in a post. And that's the first. So they've read that before I've kind of responded to the tag thing.
Yeah.
So it's like I say, I know it's absolutely vital, but I would be lying if I said I've got a structured customer journey.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't have one until I did some fantastic coaching.
Yeah.
And now I have one. And there were times before I had a process of what's going to happen when they get in touch, for instance. I mean, that's only part of the journey. But when someone makes contact and you want to kind of, take the next steps, before I had a bit of a process in place, it would be like, oh my goodness, I've got an inquiry, what do I do? Just give them a price and or like, some sort of reaction. Now it's like, right, all I've got to do is send them this bit of information and then, and so on and so forth. And it just kind of flows nicely each time. So even no matter how they come to me, if they sometimes come via random means like a WhatsApp message or something like that you're not expecting, you don't have to kind of panic and think, oh no, how do I do it? It's just the same process. Just got to adapt it to how they've, made contact and send them down your process. Really.
Oh, right. Well, going off that, I've got a customer journey.
Oh, good.
Yay! See, I would be so bold as to say that I firmly believe it's one of the top 3 ingredients in your business to grow and to feel in control. Kate, what are your thoughts on customer journeys?
Yeah, I think that's. I actually think I agree with you.
Yes.
So I'm gonna. Well, maybe I should paint the picture of what my journey was like before I had a process, and so I'd get a potential client, I'd shove them in a dinghy and shove them down the rapids.
Oh,
what's going to happen to you next? Who knows? You might get hit by a wave, and the downside to doing that, people go overboard and you don't even notice. You can't. There was no control over it at all. And occasionally people would get to the end and they'd become a client, but it was just, it wasn't really through a beautifully structured process that really helped to nurture that relationship. It was just,
People probably think you're talking figuratively, but you literally used to do that, didn't you? Take them down.
Take them down there,
Let's go down the rapids, way! So I really have noticed a big difference since I've had a process in place. and I can understand where people are in my journey and what I need to do. You know, have they got stuck in the pipe somewhere? Is there a reason why they're not getting through? And, you know, it really helps you to understand, where people are and what they need and how you can help sort of convince them, get them over the line and become a very happy client.
I love that, Kate. I mean, we can tell that Kate is a creative because of the way you think visually. That is such a perfect visual. Yeah. So what do you say to the creatives who are reluctant to create a customer journey?
Yeah, so I think if you have a certain kind of brain like mine, you naturally don't want to follow a process. But I've found since I've had them in my business, it's helped me be more creative and free up more headspace for the lovely bits that I really love to do. And you can be super creative with your customer journey. You can bring in so much lovely stuff. Like I love sending out little surprises in the post and things like that, which always work really, really well, especially when people like photograph them, put them on LinkedIn, that kind of stuff. So it helps you to be more creative if you do have a structure in place around this.
I think that in addition to that, if you don't have a structure, but plan of how the customer journey is going to take place, you leave it open to kind of be interpreted or reinterpreted by your client. And then every project is going to be completely different. It's going to be client driven rather than expert driven by yourself. And I think you just get into a lot more mess with it, really, to be honest. It's, things don't go the way they should go, and you run over scope, you run over budget very easily, I think, if you don't have a process. Yeah,
agreed. I think that's what happens, doesn't it, at the kind of when you're starting out in business, because you don't know about these processes or systems. You do have clients who they're calling the shots, and therefore like your boundaries are gone, the expectations are all over the place, and you end up having clients that you don't really like working with. Yeah.
And really all the client's trying to do is understand what the process is, and from my perspective, I get clients, they've never had a website for their business before, so they don't really know the process, and they think they've got to drive it, and they think they're like, oh, it needs to be designed like this, it needs to do that, and it's like, that's not what you want to do at all. I'm the expert, and I can help you to get it right, but when they feel like they have to, and especially if you leave that door open to them to feel that way, then it does go off the rails really easy.
Agreed. So do you think that's a good reason to put a customer journey in right from the get-go to show yourself as an expert?
Absolutely. And set the ground rules. Yeah, that's the other part of it. Which is why in my customer journey, there is a couple of little hoops that clients have to jump through.
Tell us about the hoops.
Well, I send them a questionnaire, for instance, and that gives me a bit of feedback as to the sort of client they're going to be. But what's most important is if they don't fill out that questionnaire, then I know we're going to be on dicey ground. They're going to want to run the show. And so I've had clients where they're like, oh, I don't want to fill that out. Can we just have a meeting about it? It's like, well, that's not the process. And if I do that process your way, I'm going to be doing the whole project your way. Yeah. And really, it would work against your own best interest as a client, because your product may not be, as good as a Darren Langley website should be,
Yeah. I like that, because it can be really easy in the beginning to kind of, I've got an inquiry. How high do you want me to jump? That's fine, I'll jump.
Oh, yeah. Which I think we've talked about that in the past of the first 2 years. Oh, what? The stuff you did for clients, yes. And in fact, I believe Kate's mantra, which was written on a toilet wall in New Street, was, I'll do anything for money.
True story. I still will to an extent.
Fair enough. Okay. Details are in the show notes.
So what have you learned about yourself then through, creating this customer journey that you implement no matter how the potential client comes to you? What have you learned? Pete?
I think it's, as much as I don't like structure, I work better, like Kate, I'm a creative, and I love the creative side. It's that realisation that the structure kind of begats the creative. There you go. There's a word for you.
Oh yeah, big
Word of the
hands.
day: toilet paper.
So what you're telling me is structure helps control the fun, yeah?
It kind of is. It's kind of having that structure in place, and it really is what Kate just said. It means that because that's in place, you can be more creative and you can have more fun because that's taken care of. That's not taking up any brain space at all because that's already been decided. But the creation of it and the initial implementation of it, the first few times I was like, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to just, listen, when are you free? 2:00 tomorrow?
Yeah.
Let's meet then. Let's talk then. Why do we? So it's, I resisted it, but it's when you realise that it works, like almost every aspect of running a business. I've resisted it.
Yeah, we all have.
Finally come round to it.
Why do we do that? Why do we resist?
Because it's like new
step?
stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
Anything
change.
new, it's like, oh, it's new.
Yeah. We're like teenagers. I know best.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's it. So what have you learnt, Darren, about your lovely system?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's lots of things really, because I mean, the whole thing is, as you said at the beginning, it's not just the inquiry process; it's the whole production process and the after sales process. All of that stuff, it needs to be sort of documented and structured. But having said that, I have learned that sometimes you do have to adapt from time to time and be a little bit flexible.
Okay.
But I think if you've started on a road where you've set out the boundaries early on, you can kind of do that in the same way as you can kind of allow for the creativity, because you can just kind of play with your own rules within your own terms, really.
Yeah. Agreed. I learned that if you do something more than once, create a system for it. And that just has saved me so much time. But more than anything, it saves me loads of energy, like thinking, how did I respond to that again? How do I need to respond? When do I need to respond by? What's the follow-up bit? And it all just becomes, when you're thinking in that headspace, it all just becomes a bit like, I can't be bothered to start. And I also like to think about my business in terms of, my favourite coffee shop. When you go into a coffee shop, they always make the coffee in exactly the same way, don't they? There's a real system to it. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what size business we are, whether, you're a sole trader and always are going to be a sole trader. How do you want to serve up your coffee? Is my thought process around it all.
Absolutely.
Arc Media Group is a video and social media production company based in Sutton Coldfield, now with a fully equipped film and photography studio available for hire. Arc has a rich history of crafting glossy and impactful video content, from national TV ad campaigns for household name brands to personalised strategies for small businesses. We collaborate with you to conceive creative ideas, capture engaging video content and deliver trackable results. So, if you're looking for a TV ad, social media campaign or studio hire, then get in touch at info@arcmedia.co.uk.
So what's the biggest challenge you have then now about your customer journey? Because it's something that's always evolving, isn't it? Like your business in general, it's always changing.
I think it's kind of going off Darren's point, really. It's knowing when you can change a detail of it. It's when you can be flexible with an aspect of the structure, rather than, no, this is the structure and this is what we follow and this is how it works. But like Darren said, there's times when you kind of think, right, I've got to be flexible with this because this is different, and it probably comes about when there is growth or when there is progress in the business. And I'm guessing, not that I've done this, but I'm guessing, Darren, you probably have to think, okay, do I need to keep that flexibility in now? That change that I've made, do I need to keep that change in because the business is different than when I first started this structure?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if there's one thing you can be sure of, things are going to change, aren't they? So, and in the industry I'm in, there's always new developments, or there's always potential for new, services and things that we can work into the the overall plan, and they all then need their own implementation and structure to them and process for them. So yeah.
Darren, can you remember the example of what you needed to change and adapt and why?
Oh gosh, no.
Because I think it's really easy to, to keep kind of veering off track, isn't it? Oh, I'll just do this for that client, and then I'll just do that, and then all of a sudden you've lost control of everything again.
Yeah, definitely. I think you do have to kind of sanity check it a little bit and go back to your original notes or your original Trello board, of course, and look at the process that you wrote down then, because it's sometimes, you can veer off it. I don't know. I just feel like personally, sometimes you forget a little bit, just kind of just literally you're doing it one way all the time, and just kind of forget how you actually did it originally. You just go back to it and sort of reset, some of your processes.
Yeah, I just reminds me of I did start with a new client recently, who I emailed them, and I can't remember what the problem was, but they came back to me, and I said, "Oh, apologies, that was my CRM." And there was like, "What's a CRM?" And I suddenly thought, "Oh, this is big." And, they weren't happy that they were being emailed from a CRM. So I was like, I had a little bit of a panic about it. And then I thought, no, this is what they've come to me for. They've come to me to systematise their business, make it more efficient. And they might be a bit annoyed that an email's come from a CRM, but that's what makes your business more efficient. So I think that can be a bit of a challenge sometimes with, introducing change or talking about customer journeys. So, Kate, what's kind of been a challenge for you about bringing in a customer journey and then perhaps evolving it?
Yeah, I think for me, I suppose similar really in that I naturally I'm a naturally quite rebellious kind of creative sort of free spirit, and I find myself rebelling against my own system sometimes, or getting swept up in the whole emotive, like, I've got a lovely new client, I'm loving speaking to them, and sometimes I'm like, I should have sent them a questionnaire 2 weeks ago to really work out what some of their challenges are, and if we're a good fit for them and that kind of stuff. But I think what really helps me to pull myself back round and stick to it is I know, and I suppose talking about the coffee shop thing, I know that having a consistent type of experience that you create for your clients, not just for the bit that you deliver, but all the lovely bit that comes before it, that actually really excites me. And I think I've managed to develop a journey now that all the different touch points are ones that I enjoy doing, and I like to, it's like posting things out, and I like to surprise people, inspire them, and send them little unexpected things, and I really enjoy it. It's actually, I went into this as a designer. I love to design, but actually it's only such a small part of the whole journey, isn't it? And all that other lovely stuff that comes before it. I actually get really excited by it now. I actually prefer that. They come into become a client, and it's like, I've got to do some work now.
Yeah.
But so that's what helps me kind of pull myself back round and stick to it, because and do keep refining it so that it's easy to follow and it's not like too onerous and or full of things that you don't enjoy doing. So and make it your own, and make it your own experience.
Begat, onerous. I mean, what's become of us?
I think that's really lovely, because if you're enjoying that whole process, so's your customer on the other end, aren't they? They're getting a really nice experience from it. And that's what we want them to have, a nice experience.
That's what they'll remember as well at the end.
Totally.
Maybe even more so than the actual delivery of what you did for them. They'll remember how they felt, and that's what this is all about, isn't
like
it?
Maya Angelou says, you won't remember what somebody said, but you'll remember how they made you feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't work with you, they will remember that whole lovely interaction with you, and they'll share it with others, won't they? So let's talk about the biggest benefit to your business of having this customer journey in place. What the silver linings for it, Pete?
I think it's being more present for the client, being able to, because that part is taken care of, because they're on this journey, you know where they are on the journey, obviously, because you've structured it, and you can kind of share in their excitement, but you're also excited about, I know what's coming up, I know the next bit, I know, you know, kind of when we start looking at images, when you record your first episode, when we kind of publish the first episode, I know the excitement that comes with that. And that, again, kind of is a great experience. It's a great feeling. So it's, again, it's a bit of kind of freedom that it kind of gives you to be more present for the client, because you're not thinking about the steps that they're going on, because you've already sorted that. You know, you've already got that written down and planned.
And you can also share those steps with the client.
Yeah.
And they can see where they are in the journey.
Absolutely.
You know, that kind of helps them to sort of manage their expectations on, you know, things are progressing in the right direction. And where
I remember talking to you, Darren, when you was putting your customer journey together about the whole, is it Domino's Pizza that do when you order, and then they will do the pizza
They show you
being built.
the pizza process.
Which is awesome, isn't it? Because I know, like, you know, my daughter orders from Just Eat. You can see every single step, can't you? And there's something a little bit exciting in that, isn't it? Well, it's exciting, and it's your food's on its way.
I've since found out that they don't actually know when your pizza gets put in the oven. All they know is how long it takes from the order. And they just guess it.
So your
But
pizza might not be in the
quality
oven.
checking my pizza now.
You mean, wait one
Probably
second.
not.
You mean that animated circle with the animated eyes isn't telling me the truth?
It's lying.
Well, I'm disgusted. I'm telling you.
It's all just a fabrication.
Exactly.
But it's how it makes you feel.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
And I mean,
Pizza's
the
coming.
reverse of that is you don't have any information. It's like, did they actually receive my order? Is it going to turn up? You know, if it's running a little bit late, you know, it's like, oh, they've obviously lost it and, you know, well, not got the order. Whereas if you've got some kind of process that's sort of saying, look, here you can track the delivery driver, and as he comes up your street, then, you know, that just keeps you in the loop, doesn't it?
They
As a
are always
client.
consistently good, aren't they? Like, my pizzas always arrive like really quickly and in time with the thing, with the box.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, it
always amazes me.
it acts as their own objective then, doesn't it? You know, we know that from that order, that pizza has got to be in the oven within 10 minutes or whatever, and it is in the oven in 10 minutes.
Keeps them accountable.
Accountable, that's the word I was looking
definitely.
for. Brilliant. So I love, the best thing about, you know, customer journeys for me is that I can, you know, have days off or have holidays and know that my customer journey is still helping potential clients and existing clients kind of move through their experience with me. So I don't always have to be thinking, you know, if an email comes in on a Friday and I don't work on a Monday, I've got to do something on my day off. I don't, because the systems and the processes take care of it for me, which is lovely.
Oh, we're not back to singing again, are we?
I'm going to say, hello, here we go.
I can feel a musical.
Yeah.
Right, coming out of this
A
episode.
funny thing called business, the musical. Can't wait. Cannot wait.
Oh, you can. Did you not just hear my voice? It is so bad.
I'm keeping quiet on the singing front for a reason.
I do love a musical, though. Any final thoughts on, you know, the benefits of it? Well, hold on.
Ooh.
Let me just ask you, for somebody who's listening, who has got no customer journey and thinks, where the hell do I start with that? Where do they start?
Well, you open Trello and
Oh, yeah, it can be
create
that,
it.
can't
Yeah,
it?
no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think
But it is
yeah.
write it down. That's you know,
Yeah.
sit down and actually write down what you think your process is, and from that you can see where the gaps are or where you'll come up with things like, oh, I really should be doing that actually, but I don't. And I skip that step.
Yeah.
You know.
And also write it down knowing that's not necessarily going to be the final one.
Yeah.
Don't kind of go, all right, I can't write it down until it's perfect.
Yeah.
Just write it down and start working on it.
Yeah. It
You know,
doesn't have
adapt
to
it
look
and-
pretty, does it?
No.
It doesn't have to be all flowy, just brain dump.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any final thoughts?
That's probably
Get
mine. That
a
was it.
customer journey.
Yes.
Yes,
It will,
absolutely.
like I said,
Get yourself a
top-
bus pass.
Yeah.
And
No, top 3 ingredients. It will be a business changing for you and get rid of all the niggly thoughts.
Get
that
off
are-
the rapids.
Get off the rapids.
Nice.
And get onto a nice, gentle.
Land train.
Right, we're just rambling now. So, brilliant. Please share, subscribe, and review so our fellow business owners can enjoy, be inspired, and always keep focused on the fun side of business too.
Land train.
Kate, you are brilliant at jumping in for me when my mind's gone blank.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.